This thing just starts up every time. Man, I like this machine. There's everything about it just feels great. So DRZ400, I mean, it's almost in a class of its own, but you could compare it to the WR250R, and since that's the other thing I ride a lot, I will. In fact, if you watch the reviews of the WR250R, the WR450F, I mentioned this one a few times in there, so y'all know I'm already biased about this bike. Took me a little while to get the suspension dialed in. I think I got it as good as it can get. I could be wrong. And suspension wise, no, it doesn't feel as good as the 250R, but it's close enough. This one came with an aftermarket seat from Guts, and it's okay. I don't think it's that much better than the factory seat on the 250R. It's a little bit better. The stock seats on DRZ400s are frickin' terrible. I changed the gearing on this to, what is it now? It's 1448, I believe, or 1447. That's what it is. I think it's a stock gearing for a DRZ400E. And that's pretty good on the trails. It probably, well, I would say it could be a little bit shorter gearing on the trails, but probably I just needed to be a little bit better rider and go a little bit faster. So that's probably good. On the highway, you know, it runs out of gear where the WR250R doesn't, but it's got more power. Like if I want to go from 60 miles per hour to 75 miles per hour, I could probably do it better on this than on the WR250R. Just the WR250R actually cruises pretty well at 70 if you can ever get it there. But the best thing about these is they've been around for so long, they have never changed the design. They're easy to find parts for, and they're pretty cheap. Like I said, this is 2,800 bucks. And you know, like Ned, he bought his WR250R new. I think he paid like 6,000 bucks or 6,500 bucks for that thing new. And used, you're still looking at 4,000, 4,500 bucks. Whereas this he got for 2,800 bucks, and it's almost as good as new. So that's the real thing. Like, if somebody was going to give me both of those motorcycles, just get those, let me pick one or the other, I might pick the 250R because it does most things better than the DRZ400. $1,000 plus premium it usually costs to get a comparable WR250R over a DRZ400S. There's no freaking way. It doesn't do that much better. And this definitely has more power. Like if you're just going to charge up a bumpy hill, this is the bike you want. And compared to that WR450F, and we'll put it this way, me and Ned, we talked and neither of us really want to ride that bike much more, so it's getting sold. Between the WR250R and the DRZ400S, we just don't need to ride that 450F. If we were doing like racing or doing some really hardcore fast twisty stuff, yeah, that might be the better bike to have, but we're just dual sporters, man. We're just riding around from pavement to dirt to pavement. And both these bikes kick that one's butt when it comes to pavement and dirt roads. And for our skill level, they get it done on the trails. We're not good enough riders to utilize that 450F. I would be curious about getting maybe a WR250F, making it street legal, and putting a steering damper and some good road tires on it, seeing what happens. Like a modern one too, one that's got fuel injection. So let's see, things I don't like about the DRZ400. Well, it's carbureted, which isn't so bad. This one has a stock carburetor. it does alright. It seems to be really good at changing altitudes. Like, I don't really feel much of a difference. Like, it's not jetted right when I go from 6,000 feet to 11,000 feet. So, and after I opened up the carburetor and looked at how to work, I kind of understand why. It's got like a little diaphragm that the needle sits in, and I think that diaphragm actually moves up and down depending on your air pressure a little bit and helps it. Whereas the FCR39s that people put in these, they're a little bit more finicky when you change altitudes. And they take up more gas. That's another thing. This thing's getting me like almost 50 miles to the gallon on a 3.2 gallon tank. That's about all the range I really need. So I'd like it to be fuel injected. I wish Suzuki would come out with a fuel injected version of this, but they didn't do too bad of a job on the carburetor. The 5 gears, man, the 5 gears is probably the thing that bothers me the most, especially after riding that 250R. I just keep hitting the 6th gear that's not there. And here, we're running on the highway here in a second, so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. And in that 250R review, I also got on the same entrance ramp, and I was talking about how it was having a hard time getting up to like 60 or 65. You'll get to see how this responds in that same situation right now. But keep in mind, this has only got 5 gears, so I could have downshifted on that 250R and it would have accelerated a little bit better. I think that's 5th gear right there. I shifted going about 45. Yep, that was it. Now I'm full throttle. Speed, it's getting up there. I got just a touch over 70 miles per hour. I believe the speedometer is actually pretty accurate. And by the way, I'm running my bomb-proof dual sport tire build and not getting any death wobbles or anything. So I mean, it's cruising right now at 50 to 55 miles per hour. It cruises pretty well. 60 miles per hour, it's getting a little whiny. And like I said, that's with 1447 gears. And I'm clocking in probably around 200 pounds of gear right now. What else do I not like about this thing? Well, the cases are kind of weak. A lot of people have problems where they fall over on their side and they punch a hole in their cases. And the shift lever and the brake lever got these little notches on them that are just made seemingly to punch holes in your side cases. So that's just stupid. And on these, the shift lever and the brake pedal are both shaved, so they'll be less likely to punch a hole in the cases, but still, probably got to get the thumper talk cases on there. What are they, like 35 bucks, and then you don't got to worry about that? Pretty easy to break the radiators, but that's pretty much true on any dirt bike or light dual sport. If it falls over, it's going to fall in the radiators and break. This has got beefy radiator guards to keep that from happening. Yeah, there's really nothing else that bothers me about this thing. It's just a great bike, a great all-around bike. It's a little bit heavy, you know. It feels like it's maybe 30 or 40 pounds heavier than the 250R. It's probably actually about 20 pounds more. It just wears it higher. So yeah, I don't know, what do these weigh, around 310? It'd be great if they weighed about 280 or 290. Things I like about this, I mean, what's there not to like about it? It does everything you ask of it. It can get you to a trail, and get you through a trail. I'd say if you're more into dirt, then I'd take this over anything else out there, except for maybe the 250R, depending on your situation. And if you're more into street than dirt, and maybe commuting sometimes, then maybe you want a KLR or an XR650L. DR450. you know, maybe I'd say I'm either like a 60 or 70% dirt person. This is really a way to go, especially for the money. So this stuff right here, where you're twisting around, this is a little bit more fun on the 250R. It ain't $1,500 more fun, but that thing kind of just feels a little bit more at home carving around on this. Still pretty damn fun on a DRZ400. And if I'm on trails twisting around, again, the 250R is a little bit more at home. But if I hit some like big steep hill that's got some rocks and roots and ruts in it, I want to be on this, because this one won't stall on me. I can just kind of keep it in a little bit too high gear if I want, and if it starts to bog, I'll just throttle out and good to go. Whereas the 250R, you got to keep your speed up. You got to kind of hit it going a little bit faster than you would on this, and just be mindful of those RPMs, because once those RPMs start to get low, it'll stall on you a lot easier than this one. So in the 250R review, it said something about it feeling like a sewing machine. I'm trying to think, like, what's the similar comment I can make about this? Definitely doesn't feel like a sewing machine. I don't know, what is the DRZ400 like? It's, you know, like a Jeep Wrangler maybe, you know? It's just kind of really versatile and a little bit dated in its design, but gets the job done. Or maybe it's like duct tape, it just does everything. Really what it is, it's a freaking mule. Might not be the most comfortable thing. Might not be that good looking. But whatever you ask it to do, it'll get it done. I think I talked enough about this thing. I'm going to turn the stupid camera off and go back to enjoying riding it. I'll catch y'all later. Over and out.